I'd like to introduce to you the next President of the United States, my
Hello, high five. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello, Dubuque, how are you? And how lucky a man am I to be married to the next First Lady of the United States of America? Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. You can take a seat. I appreciate that. This is my 23rd time visiting Iowa. First time with a bus. Got a big fancy bus out front. I don't know if you've all seen it. I'll see you later. And I gotta say, I've enjoyed every single moment here in Iowa, in large part because you all hold the future of the country in your hands. You might not feel it all the time. You're going to school, you're living your lives, just trying to make life better for yourselves, your families, your friends, your loved ones. But the presidential candidates know it. I know it. How many Californians is each of you worth in terms of your voting power? 1,000 each. That's right. What's the fire code in this office? Let's say there are 60 of us, 80 of us. A Trumpian number would be like, there are 300 of us in this room. Let's say there are 60 people here in this room. That's 1.5 football stadiums worth of Californians. That's the power in this room. That's the power here in Iowa. It's fun. You all are superpowered. It's true. We all know it. How many presidential candidates have you seen during this cycle? This would be 5, 6. Go ahead and flash. This would be 10, 15. So she's got 10. He's 16. Also 6, 1. I appreciate the 1. That's good stuff. They're yang gang. The presidential candidates know it. We know that each of you can actually turn the country on a dime and send it a whole new direction. That's why it's a joy to be here. This is one of the only places in the country where democracy still works at all, honestly, the way it's intended. Most Americans look up, they see our government as a series of pipes that are clogged full of money, lobbyist cash, just plugging it up. And most Americans look up and say they can do nothing about it. They are generally correct. Americans are very smart, turns out. They look up and they say, I can't do anything about it. But you all can. You can flush the pipes clean just like that. That's the magic of this place. That's the power of this place. The question is, how are you going to use that power? How are you going to actually set a new direction for the country? If you're here tonight, you heard about the campaign, Humanity First, Pledge for Humanity. How many of y'all brought food tonight? If you didn't, it's cool. If you did, you're awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to make sure that food finds the right place, the right family. But if you're here tonight, at some point you heard that there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Remember that? No? Raise your hand if you do that. Actually, raise your hand if you're here because of a TV ad. This would be interesting. We spend a lot of money on those ads. At least you saw them. Thanks, man. You're the only person who's going to keep that freaking ad firm employed. And ad firms running around being like, raise your hands, people. Anyway, I'm actually kind of happy about it. The fact that you're here for other reasons. We have to rewrite the rules of the 21st century economy to work for us, to work for you all, the people of this country. And some of you, I can tell, are quite young. I love the kids who are getting into politics young. I appreciate the heck out of that. You can vote for my re-election. And if you're a parent like me and Evelyn, you want to make sure that your kids are set up for success in the future. But unfortunately, you have these doubts, this feeling that we're leaving a much darker future for our kids than we had ourselves. And those doubts are grounded, as usual, in reality. Americans are very smart. You're born in the 1940s, there's a 93% chance that you're going to do better than your parents. That's the American dream. You're born in the 1990s, you're down to a 50-50 shot. And which way is it going? downs. That's why we feel like our kids are not going to be all right. That's why we feel misgivings about the world we're leaving to them. The question is, how can we do something about it? You put this money into our hands, and we can build a trickle-up economy from our people, our families, and our communities up. And if I was talking about this in any other part of the country, you could legitimately say, Andrew, that's too good to be true. But this is Iowa. You can do whatever you want. No, it's true. You get behind a new vision of a human-centered economy, it will sweep the country like wildfire. You will make it a reality. And after I'm your president and you're getting $1,000 a month, how are you going to spend the money in real life? Like, where does the money actually go?
Protecting your town. Local business.
Oh, bills, sure. It's gonna go to daycare expenses and car repairs you've been putting off and Little League signups and maybe an extra donation to the local food pantry. How much of it's gonna stay right here in Iowa? Not all of it, most of it. You might get your own Netflix password, a little bit of it's gonna float up. But most of it's gonna stay right here in Iowa. It's gonna make your community stronger, healthier, your families mentally healthier, less stressed out, improve relationships. This is the new way forward that we must make possible for our kids as quickly as possible. And I say must, I think this is not an option because unfortunately, our economy is going through the greatest economic transformation in our history. If you turn on the TV, why would you think Donald Trump's our president? Why would you think Donald Trump won Iowa by 8 points, despite Iowa being traditionally a very purple state?
Russia!
No. It's true. If you turn on CNN, it sounds like you're now watching a lot of TV in this room, which is probably good. But if you turn on cable news, you would think that Donald Trump's our president because of some combination of Russia, racism, Hillary Clinton, Facebook, FBI, emails, all mixed together. But I believe you all know different. You know that the reason why Donald Trump won in Iowa was that we blasted away 40,000 manufacturing jobs. And after those jobs went dark, that shopping center closed, and then people started to worry about their future and what's next. A lot of those towns never recovered. It wasn't just here in Iowa. We blasted away 4 million manufacturing jobs that were primarily in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, all of the swing states that Donald Trump won. And what happened to those jobs is now happening on your main streets and throughout your communities. How many of you have noticed stores closing where you live? And why are those stores closing? Amazon, one word answer. No, Amazon. Soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. How much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? That is your math. We all do use, like, I use Amazon. But I want them to pay taxes. Like, I don't like the fact that they're soaking up $20 billion, paying zero back. 30% of your stores and malls are closing for good. And the most common job in most of the country, including Iowa, is retail clerk. The average retail clerk's a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $10 an hour. What happens when her store closes? The rubber really hits the road when the self-driving trucks start hitting the highways. How many of you know a truck driver here in Dubuque or in Iowa? Driving a truck is the most common job in 29 states. There are 3.5 million truckers. My friends in California are working on trucks that can drive themselves. They're 98% of the way there. How many of you have been to Iowa 80, the truck stop? All of us, right? It's got a mean buffet, right? And walk through the stores, and then there it is. They say 5,000 people stop there every day. What happens when the trucks are driven by robots instead of people? That's not just the truckers, that's the truck stops, the motels, the diners, all the retail establishments that rely upon the truckers stepping out every day and having a meal or taking a hot shower, any of those things. This is the economic transformation that got Donald Trump elected. This is what's driving more and more Americans to doubt that our government is up to the challenge of solving these problems and addressing the challenges. And they're right. DC wants nothing to do with these challenges. Evelyn knows. Evelyn would have run the other way if she thought I was going to run for president when we started dating. That's a true story, right? Yeah. I am not a politician. I actually have a natively low interest in politics and something of a dislike for Washington, D.C. As a town. Washington, D.C., it's true. Washington, D.C. is the richest city in our country today. What do they produce? Yeah, that's a tricky one, right? I'll tell you what they produce. They produce bad decisions, a lack of accountability, and corruption at this point. Before, it's rough, but it's true. I went to D.C. Before I started running for president. I was Mr. Entrepreneurship and job creation around the country. I spent 7 years helping create thousands of jobs around the country in Ohio, Missouri, Michigan, Alabama, Louisiana, and other states. Sorry, not countries. That also would be Trumpian, being like Louisiana. So I saw what was happening in these communities, and I knew it was because of this economic transformation. I went to our leaders in D.C. and I said to them, what are we going to do to help our people manage this transition? What do you think the folks in D.C. said to me when I said, what are we going to do? Get back to you, right? Number one was, we cannot talk about this, Andrew. Number two was, we should study this further. Number three was, we must educate and retrain all Americans for the jobs of the future. And I said, that last one sounds pretty good, but I looked at the studies. You all want to guess how effective government-funded retraining programs were for the manufacturing workers who lost their jobs in the Midwest? 0 to 15%. They were a total dud. And when I said that to the folks, they said, well, I guess we'll get better at it. And one of them said something to me that was the truth. And it brought me here to you all tonight. He said, Andrew, no one here in D.C. is going to do anything about this because fundamentally this is a town of followers, not leaders. And we will only do something about it is if you create a wave and bring that wave crashing down on our heads. And I heard this and I said, challenge accepted. I'll be back with the wave. And that was 2 years ago, Iowa. That was before my first trip here. We are 23 trips in later, and I stand before you, 5th in national polls to be the next president of the United States. We raised $10 million last quarter in increments of only $30 each. So my fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. I'm going to tell you all a Bernie story, just because, yeah, why not? So I've been around Bernie a number of times throughout this campaign, and I wasn't sure if he liked me, because you can't really tell if he likes you. But then he said to a journalist, he said, I like Andrew. And I was so touched, I was like, Bernie likes me? And so then at the next debate, I was like, hey, Bernie, thank you for saying nice things about me to that journalist. And then he put his arm on it and said, of course I like you, Andrew. You bring a lot of good ideas to the table. And I felt like I'd been blessed by my uncle. Sorry, I lost my take a sec. So the folks in D.C. wanted nothing to do with this, and we've now raised millions of dollars to make the case that we need to rewrite the rules to work for us. And this is the power you all have here in Iowa. If it's not working for you, it's not working. That really should be your standard. If you look up and say, hey, things are working great, I may not be your candidate. But if you think things should be working much, much more in alignment with the things you care about and hold dear, then this is our chance. And the rest of the country is looking to you to light the way and lead the way on this. Instead of corporate profits being at record highs and everyone saying, oh, the unemployment rate is low and doing great, we should be paying attention to the fact that stress, anxiety, student loan debt, depression, drug overdoses, and suicides are all at record highs. We should stop pretending that the problems that Donald Trump called out weren't real. They are real. That's why tens of millions